Yeah, welcome to the Monster Energy stage. We are high atop Thunder Valley in Colorado for staging area. Jason Wygant. And, yeah, the fans love it. That's good. We got a crowd here tonight. Joined by none other than the 15-time AMA champion, the greatest of all time, Ricky Carmichael, going to do some bench racing.
Yes.
And what we're finding out is these fan zones, they get a first-class view. We're stuck in a TV truck all weekend. This is the place to be.
Well, it is, and this is the cool thing about pro motocross. You get to go here. It's like tailgating at a college football game, right? A lot of fun, and I wish I was out here camping out with you guys. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think we're going to be jealous of them later on tonight. But we got a really special guest, along with myself and Ricky Carmichael. Let's bring in, I know it's going to pump up the crowd, Colorado's own, the 4-time AMA National Motocross Champion, Eli Tomac is here.
Yeah, E.T.
All right, ET3, and we know what it's all about when we come to Colorado. We already got a little preview a few months ago in Denver. They went nuts there. And I think they're going to be doing the same thing. I know it's special for you to come to these races in your home state.
Oh, it's I just look forward to it every time.
Yeah.
I mean, ever since that first Supercross in Denver,
oh
my gosh, the crowd was so good. And it's always been a great crowd here at Thunder Valley, too. There's great enthusiasm just with all the people that ride moto in Colorado. Yep. And glad we get to be here.
Yeah, we had snow, I think, that first time we raced in Denver. Yep. But they did not care. They were still on fire all night long. Yeah.
Well, the crazy thing was it was snowing in practice, and then it got the conversion was, I feel like it was 80 degrees in the afternoon. It was
what happens here, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess you're used to it. And, okay, the side of the track we're on, when you folks see this thing on TV, there's a big tabletop where guys like to get sideways or whatnot. All of a sudden you hear the crowd. So do you as a rider notice certain areas of the track get loud, like when you're in the fans sections?
I would say it's – for here, there's a lot of great places.
Yeah.
I mean, it is after this big triple table, through the big sweeper, and then the start line, too. They're right up against the fence, too. So start's really good here. I mean, and then what's so cool about here is you can see the whole track, too.
Yeah.
Did you race here as an amateur?
Only a little bit, because our house is like 7 hours from here. So we're really not that close to, this area. It was this couple of Rutherland qualifiers here and there and maybe a state race, but it wasn't like a local event for me.
If you said, how many times would you, if you had to say 10 times, 20 times?
I think it was maybe once or twice a year.
That's crazy.
During that amateur stint. So,
yeah, so it's funny. You do well here, but it's not like you really have any special knowledge, right?
No. I guess my advantage would be just riding an elevation period.
Yeah.
Right, because the motorcycle feels slower, especially from sea level to where we're at here. So that's my advantage is the feel of the bike.
But that's a crazy thing. I think it gets lost in the sauce, if you will, is like everyone thinks you probably have this massive advantage because you rode here all the time throughout your amateur career, but that's really not the case. Kind of to your point, the only advantage you have is knowing how the bike's going to react, really.
Yeah, exactly. This wasn't my backyard track. So, like I said, it was only a couple times a year.
Is even the soil similar? What I've seen at your track, you got some sand down at your place. Is this even dirt, anything like where you ride?
It's not.
No, I didn't think so. Yeah.
It's not. I have sandier soil at home. So this gets, awesome ruts.
Yeah.
And it's more clay-based, so you get more of those solid lines here.
That's the good news. You're used to the elevation. That helps you. But I got bad news. One of your competitors has taken a page out of your book. And Jason Anderson built the track also at elevation now. He used to struggle in the elevation big time. Had to take meds and fly in early, late, all these things he had tried. But he's been training in it now. So people are taking pages out of your book. You've had success. They want to do it.
Well, I mean, look, Jason grew up in New Mexico, right? So he grew up in it. So I think he's just going for feeling at home and being comfortable, that kind of feeling. And it's working for him. It's worked for me. You just got to do what makes you feel good and what makes it work.
You know what's interesting, though? I remember early in your career, the fitness we know was strong, and obviously training and elevation helps. But when we get you down to Loretta's, you had to adapt to something else. You had to adapt to the humidity. Everybody else got to adapt to the elevation. So how were you able to do that through the years? Because it went from a problem to when it's a hot day, we're not worried about you at all.
For me, I didn't adapt to it till I just got older, and I feel like you just get more strength as you get older, right?
Your body,
you learn.
You learn, and you learn how to manage it, and what your limits are. I mean, we started at a very young age in the sport. I turned pro at 17, and now looking back, it's just like you're a little boy, racing against the men.
At now,
and that changes, and it changed for me in my early 20s. You just get stronger.
Okay, yeah, because
that's how it was for me.
Because you were raised in it.
Yeah.
That probably came easy.
Yeah.
But when you came to elevation, did you notice that?
Well, yeah, I noticed that, and then the dry heat. Never growing up in dry climates, always wet, damp climates. So it was a shock for me, probably similar to him, to Eli, going into where super humid climates. Like I would just boil. Like when I go to the dry climates, I'm like, dude, it's so hot. And they're like, what are you talking about? It's way hotter in Florida. I'm like, dude, 110 is hot. I don't care who you are or where you at. It's hot.
That's right. Let's talk about the series a little bit. Look, we were a little nervous that first moto. We knew you were coming in with a knee injury. I know you said in Supercross you were good for a few minutes, and then it would kind of kick in.
Yeah.
And it kind of looked like that at Hangtown. I was nervous, but that was not the problem.
No, that was not the problem at Paula Moto 1.
Yeah.
I just got really tight.
Yep.
Arms got arm pump. I'll be totally honest. I just got arm pump and went backwards.
Okay.
Basically got kicked out the back. And I'm sure everyone that rides has felt that. Would think we wouldn't face that at this level, but we still do. If you're off and you're not comfortable and you're not feeling in that good spot, whether it's with the track or with your motorcycle. And I was just off on my setup for race day. Period.
Yeah, imagine. So for those of you guys like, come on, man, arm pump. Let me parallel it for y'all. Imagine trying to write your name on a piece of paper and like you can't even get your hands to respond. And you can't grip the pen tight, and the pen's going all over different directions. That's what it would be like riding with arm pump, more than likely.
Yes,
but you're going 10 times the speed and taking 10 times the chance. It's the worst feeling ever. You're just a sitting duck. You're like, well, I can't really ride.
Here we go.
hard.
Here goes the next guy.
That's right. Like, well, you got me.
Yep.
And let me guess. The way this sport works, there are 9,000 arm pump remedies. Everybody's got one. Spray this on, wrap this, eat this, drink it. There's nothing you can do, man.
For me, it's always as if I'm falling off the back of the motorcycle and my shock isn't up enough coming out of the turns.
Yeah.
Then I'm pulling myself too much. It's like a row motion, right? And then it makes me tight. So that's what happens to me.
Yeah, same. Yep. I was almost not falling up like if I was just strictly holding on too tight or riding over my limit. Like if running a 212 was easy and I tried to go 211, boom, my arms would blow up. I'd hold on tighter, and I just basically you almost have to surrender to not going that fast.
Could you
That's
notice
what
that?
It was
Did you know if you got a pit board and you're like, I got to try to go a second faster? Would you think, but I got to be careful?
Yeah, 100%. I think it goes back to what ET was talking about. You learn as you go older. He knows what his limit is. He knows like, all right, if I got to bump it up a half second or a second, I'm probably going to get tight. So you have to weigh out the options, I feel like. And we all make the mistake of going too hard sometimes and then blowing up. You know, it just happens.
Yeah,
it's going to happen. It's the first time, it's not the last time, but absolutely, you got that line, and it's a game of chess. It's almost like championship, you got to be there every weekend, and some tracks you're going to feel great at, and you're going to have good speed. You won't have to hold on as tight, won't be falling off the back, whatever it might be. Everyone gets it a certain different way, but you got to be tactical about it.
Yep.
Can you tell with the bike setup before it even happens, like, oh, the way this bike feels, I might be in for it in a lap or two?
Well, I didn't realize that obviously until the race. I mean,
early in the moto where you're like, oh, this is not the way I want the bike to feel.
Yeah, I was actually nervous after practice because I'm like, those practice laps where we're sprinting so hard, I was already blowing up at the end of those laps. So I'm like, this could be a long day.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you couldn't change enough to get it where you wanted.
It's hard to take that big of a gamble because a lot of times you can make things worse.
I see.
It's kind of nice to know what you have.
And my mindset was like, hey, this is the first round. Maybe I'm just treating it as the first round. You have a little more nerves, a little more adrenaline going that first one. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of went with it, but I paid the price for it.
Yeah. Did you know? Obviously, things were way better at Hangtown. Yep. Did you know going into Hangtown, I think we got a fix for this, or did you need to race again to know for sure?
I mean, you always think you have the fix, and you don't know until you go put it to the test. So I got the balance better. I was way more comfortable. I was able to do my thing, just go lap after lap, and felt comfortable doing it. So hopefully we're good from here on out.
Did you need to change from here, or were you pretty much on Hangtown now?
I don't think I need to change from here. Because we made a couple little changes between Moto 1 and 2. But I was riding better. Yeah. And so for now, I'm gonna start with that and go with it. One thing's for sure is we did make big improvement from Paula to Hangtown. And, this was our first race on the motorcycle. I don't want to put this all on the motorcycle, but it's hard to nail it right out the gate, your first race on a new platform.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever taken your hot lap and you're like, dude, this thing doesn't feel right. I need to make a clicker adjustment here, or tension on the spring here, or have you ever done that? Because I tell you, I have. I'm like, dude, I don't know what this thing's going to be like. It was doing this in practice. Let me see what it's like.
Oh, like on the sight lap?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right. I'm like,
we'll do that. We'll make a change. You go out, you pin it on your sight lap. Make sure it's okay.
Okay.
Sometimes you put it back.
Okay.
So you might make a change between sight lap and moto.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
Yep.
There's times like because the conditions change so much from practice to first moto to second moto. There would be like sometimes I go over the second moto. I tell Goose, I'm like, it feels a little low on the sight lap. Like, give me some more like low speed compression.
Yeah.
Keep it up in the back.
Get up a little bit. Yep.
You're just going to the line hoping. Hopefully we got it. Hope we got it. But you did get it. You did get it last week, so you got to be pumped. And coming in here with the fans and the momentum from last weekend, you got to be excited about the chances of this being a good weekend for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just trying to replicate Moto 2 at Hangtown. Like that just felt like like me at home. You always feel good at home, but to have that same feeling at the race is a hard thing to do.
What tracks on the series do you like the best? Like you're like, man, I'm looking forward to going to these races.
To be honest, it was last week, Hangtown.
Really?
For some reason, I feel like I just race well there in general. And then I look forward to, here, Thunder Valley.
Yeah, there we go.
There
we go.
Thunder Valley.
I mean, I've got one bad memory here, right, in 2015, but the rest of it has been pretty good. And then I love Redbud. I love Southwick.
You like Millville?
I like Millville.
Unadilla?
That one's hit and miss. I haven't had great success there the past few years, so that one's on my list. I need to do better there. Yeah.
We know how you feel about that, RC.
Yeah.
That was not on your good list.
I regret some of the words I said about it. Some good people over there that run Unadilla. I was young, cocky. I shouldn't have said the things that I did, but it's still not my favorite track.
Yeah, that one's a little bit low for me, too.
There you go. Yeah, they can't all
At
be
least
aces.
it's different now there. They put some different stuff on there, but still, I don't know.
So this is exciting. You're coming in with momentum. One more thing I want to ask about. When I talked to Chase Sexton after the race last week, he didn't win the motos, but he said, man, it was fun. It was fun to battle. So I don't know if you guys are on the limit where you're like, God, it's so hard, or was it actually fun to be battling like that all the way down to the wire because he pushed you to the end?
That was a serious push.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun for me.
Okay.
And when I passed him, like, okay, how I was able to pass him and get around him, it didn't seem super difficult to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to sneak away from this guy. And I didn't.
He was there.
And he was right there. I would go through the 180 turns after like the last roller uphill, right? And we'd turn and go down that little shelf. And that's where I would kind of, spot guys. And I never saw him for a couple laps. I'm like, maybe he crashed or he didn't go anywhere. And then finally I turned my eye a little bit more and he's like right on my wheel. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, it's time to go.
Okay.
And then Chase's bike and Kenny's bike, they're super quiet.
Yeah.
So you can't really hear him behind you. And so those last two laps were a massive, massive push. I mean, it was all the way to the end, all the way to that little hip jump.
Yeah.
To that whatever.
Yeah.
Into that new rhythm lane right there. He was right there. So that was a huge push to the end.
Lappers are getting you guys jammed up a little bit too, huh?
A little bit jammed up from lappers. We both, got good and bad from that. But
hey, you won. But so sometimes it's fun to battle. Sometimes you're pushing really hard. Yeah.
I was giving my all, period.
Yep.
I mean, so was he. But, it wasn't fun. I mean, you're the guy, you're trying to keep him behind you.
Yeah. You want that checkered flag to come
you want
out.
that checkered flag.
We're going to throw the checkered flag on this. Let's have a big round of applause. Awesome for Eli Tomac to give us some time here on a Friday night.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming by. You're a busy guy.
Thanks, guys.
It's good.
Yeah, T. Good luck tomorrow.
See ya.
Enjoy it. Tell
All
the
right.
family, hey.
These people are going to enjoy it. I guarantee you that. We're going to take a commercial break here. Big thanks to Eli Tomac. It's staging area right here with Monster Energy. We'll be right back to do some more bench racing for tomorrow's race.
Keeping your pride and joy perfect is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Start with Slick Mist Speed Wax. Simply mist on and wipe off for a professional detailer shine. For your tires and trim, there's Lucas Slick Mist Tire and Trim Shine. Spray on and wipe off for better than new look. Then finish her with Lucas Slick Mist Interior Detailer. Just spray and wipe. Easy. Use Lucas Slick Mist Car Care products and she'll never look better. Fast, easy, and professional. Really, it's sort of like having an extra set of hands. Or 3.
Who's it going to be after 30 minutes and 2 laps? Heart rates are absolutely pinned right now.
It is on right now. MAV TV live coverage. Lucas Oil Pro Motocross.
How can you not respect the grit, the heart, the effort? Jen Lawrence is the 2021 Lucas Oil Pro Motocross champion.
The Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Series. This year on MAV TV.
We are back. It's going to be the Toyota Thunder Valley National right here in Lakewood, Colorado. This is staging area. Monster Energy helping bring it to us right here on their Monster Energy stage. Ricky Carmichael, Jason Wygant, and our ace in the hole, our secret weapon, our stat man, Clinton Fowler has joined us. He helps us behind the scenes, both at Monster Energy Supercross and here at the TV broadcast for Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. So you promised to bring us some heat, some interesting numbers. Can you do that, Clinton?
I'll do my best. I'll do my best.
He's endorsed by Carmichael, so if the GOAT says you're good, you're good.
I'm fully endorsing him, and he blows me away with his stats. He does his homework. I really respect what he does, and it's been a lot of fun working with him all year long, and it's mind-blowing. I think the older I get, the more I appreciate the numbers, and I've had to make a couple corrections for him over the years.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, so I'm always,
He's found a few.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
found a few.
I found a few. But then he recorrected me because I read it wrong. So
Yeah.
most of
right.
the time I'm wrong, he's right.
Sometimes it's the head and the heart. What I love about the numbers here is, and Clinton, you and I have talked about this, there's always the thing you think you see, what you saw on the track, the theory you have, and you go in the numbers, and sometimes it's correct, sometimes your theory is proven right, but sometimes the numbers, they don't lie. They prove the theory wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we run into that a fair amount where I'll get the questions from the team, and I think this is happening, and then I'll go look up the numbers. I'll be like, I got some bad news for you. That just isn't happening.
Yeah,
right?
your theory is incorrect.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that this sport is missing. We have seen how numbers have completely revolutionized, especially baseball, also basketball, other sports to a lesser degree. I think you're just scratching the surface of what we're going to learn.
Yeah, it's at the beginning. This is just capturing the basic stuff, like this guy over here having 189 Moto wins. But, how did he do that, right?
Yeah,
What
exactly.
what's the stats that got him to that point? So I think we're definitely just scratching the surface. There's just so much more that we can do.
I'm still fired up about those 25 races I lost.
Oh, here we go.
That's what I'm mad about.
I do like to bring that up. It's always nice because,
RC,
I was joking with him the other day. I sent him a text. I was like, dude, you make it boring looking at some of the pro motocross stats because 189 moto wins, 102 overall wins. He straight up beat the number 2 in the stats, James Stewart, 38 out of 48 head-to-head meetings, right?
I did have a little luck against Stu, though, in the outdoors.
We're gonna go with luck.
Yeah, I did.
Luck.
You make your own luck, but still.
Okay, here's the upside. Okay, yes, I was around announcing races in your day, and we kind of knew a lot of times who was going to win. It has changed. It has changed quite a bit.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It is so good. Supercross and now this series as well.
And this is what leads us. We were all talking about it a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
Leads us to, if you're a betting guy, you're gonna, and we're going more into stats of what Clinton does. If you're a betting guy, you have to go with Ken Roczen tomorrow. And Clint can tell you the hard stats of why, but I was doing my homework on the plane ride over here, and I'm like, wow, man, he's done pretty incredible here.
All right, tell us the numbers here. Ken Roczen.
He's never been off the podium.
Okay.
He's got 6 first-place finishes and two second place. He's just never missed it.
No, 4.
4. Excuse me. Thank you. See?
Oh, that's how it works
here.
4 out of 6. He's won here
Ricky.
4 out of 6 times.
Yeah.
And he's raced 12 motos. He's won 6 times out of the 12. So he's 500 on moto wins.
Yeah.
And like you said, he's never been off the podium. So, you have to. There's something about this place. Well, number one, he gets great starts. I think his average first lap's got to be better than anyone, wouldn't you think?
Bro, even if it doesn't get a good start.
You got the stat in there. I didn't see that.
Well, it's what he and I always talk about. Even if it doesn't get a good start, the first lap or two of Ken Roczen is so good. he's going to get to the front either way.
Yeah, and he showed that at Pala, right? Like
yes.
The both motos there, he set 5 of the top 10 fastest laps in both motos. I mean, just impressive stuff. Even though he didn't come away with a win, Chase was right there, but still just impressive right out of the gate.
So that's interesting you bring that up, both of you, with your numbers, because we're talking about Sexton and Tomac and Anderson, who have won races this year. Who is it between these three? We cannot count out Roczen at least this weekend.
No, I wouldn't count him out.
You can never count him out. But his stats surely favor him over anyone else tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting to see if he's able to live up to those stats and what he's been able to do in the past. Like I said, 4 wins out of 6 attempts. That's a hell of an accomplishment, especially against the guys he's racing against.
Yep.
So one of those guys is Chase Sexton, who's leading the points. Now, we have been talking with Sexton. It's not if he's going to get there. It's more like when. What do you think, RC? Are we getting into the when zone where Sexton has all the pieces figured out? Not going to be easy, but it's looking better and better.
So we talked about it on our call this week, right? And I think that Chase Sexton has a really bright future. I think he is one of the favorites.
Yep.
The next couple of weeks will tell its tale. But I think he is to the stage where he clearly has the speed.
Oh, yeah.
He's on another level. But Eli Tomac, Ken Roczen, Jason Anderson, there's guys are going to challenge him, and he's got to know when to punt sometimes and just take that second, take that third, because those guys are so strong, and they're going to fight to the end, especially Eli Tomac in the outdoors. He's just as strong. So if he's able to throw his pride to the side, take those second and thirds, I think he has a really good shot, if not better than anyone else, to win this championship. And that's not taking anything away from the other guys. And everybody listening, watching this, don't take it the wrong way. I just think he has as good a shot as anyone else.
Yeah, on the stats side of it, you look at the Supercross season, he was 5 times fastest lap in the main events, but he only had 1 win, right? So those mistakes caught up with him. But you look at it so far this year, fastest qualifier at Pala, set the fastest overall lap time at both rounds, set fastest lap in 3 out of 4 motos. Like, he's kind of showing without the mistakes that he's going to be the guy that's there every single weekend.
And that brings me to a point where a rider like Chase could really use Clint's work. So he goes, okay, why am I not winning these races? Why am I not winning these championships? And you go look, like, as the fastest guy here, I had the best first lap average here, boom, boom, boom. You can put it, and then you can really hone in on where is your weak spot. I think he knows his weak spot. He's got great people around him that know his weak spot, but I think you can even put more focus on that to maybe not make those mistakes again. So
it's all a learning process. I remember him last year. He's pretty forthright. Talk about the motorcycle.
That's
talk
right.
about his struggles.
That's right.
And he said one of the things that throws him the most, maybe they got it fixed, from the 250 class to the 450 is he's like, I will just lose traction out of nowhere, which I never had that problem on a 250. He's like, I swear everything's going good, I'm fine, and then next thing I know, I'm on the ground. And that's what he's learning, and it's hard to fix it because he's like, I don't even know when it's coming. So maybe he's got it figured out. He doesn't even know himself.
Yeah, it's always a tough one for me because I feel like I go back to Minneapolis when he was leading so long. And he's in tune with his motorcycle. I'm just like, you know what you can get from the bike, you know what you can't get from the bike. You went around that corner 25 times just in the main event. It's crazy. And I think that as the track deteriorates, you just have to have that mental focus. And if it slips one time, and it really rears its head in Supercross, I don't know. I like when you do it that many times, I just like, you might have to take some personal responsibility. Not saying that the bike was perfect. But if you know it's not perfect, you have to be even extra careful.
I don't know if he's blaming the bike. I think he's just saying, like, this is weird. I never had this problem on a 250, and the 450 will just bite me at times. When you jumped up to the big bike, there were some moments.
2 years, 2 years of solid moments. Listen, that was a good thing about 1999 Supercross. I was beating the traffic because I was always crashing early. I'm like, well, good thing is we're not going to have to wait for traffic to get out of the venue this weekend. So that was the only positive about it. But it taught me a lot, and it made me the champion that I was when I got to that premier level. It's like those 99 and 2000 were really rough. But it taught me what not to do, and it taught me so many lessons. They were tough lessons, but
the piece I'm curious, RC, like the stats, when I look at your stats in pro motocross, 189 moto wins, 102 overall wins, that's insane. It didn't seem like you had the same learning curve there as you did in Supercross. Is that how does that play out with a guy like Chase Sexton?
Well, the reason I feel like it was a little bit easier for me in motocross because I had ridden motocross my whole life until I turned professional. Now you see guys like Chase Sexton and even the crop coming up generation behind him, they are exposed to Supercross at such an early age. Yeah. So it's a little bit more comfortable with them, like the Supercross Futures program. That's why I think, they're accustomed to how things work on the Supercross side of things. But listen, man, motocross was my thing. It became a lot easier, and I always felt like it rewarded the guys who worked harder. Where Supercross, you can rely on talent a little bit more than what you can in motocross. At the end of the day, in pro motocross, you got to have that grit. You got to be tough. It's grueling. It's long. It's hard, and you have to be there at the end. And the harder you work, the better you do, and that's what I liked about it.
We're celebrating 50 years of the series this year. This is the 51st year, so we're celebrating the 50 years we've had so far. You're obviously a big part of that, but I don't know if I've ever asked you this. When you were a young buck, who were you idolizing, watching, and all that?
People ask me that a lot, and you guys are going to think this is so like a political answer, but I love Jeff Ward for certain reasons.
Okay.
Number one, he was short like me. I love Johnny O'Mara. I love Rick Johnson. Love David Bailey. Love Damon Bradshaw. Love Jeff Matasevich. And that's the cool thing about motocross is each guy has their own individuality. And that's why I didn't care who won. I just got to watch these guys, and I really admired each guy's style.
Matasevich. Everyone you're naming, I can see that. I can see that. Matasevich.
I mean,
Tell me
was.
why.
Well, I mean, you go back. He was. Yeah, it was. So all those guys, and then coming up after there, Brian Swink. It really does. Like
Exactly.
when I was a little kid watching, we're dating ourselves here, but that feels like it was 50 years ago.
Yeah. The best part here, Weege, is RC won't give you the favorite. It's the same thing when we're in Supercross.
They try to give